Hey there, meteorologist Ian Kelly here to talk about the various kinds of alerts that the National Weather Service uses. Have you ever been just sitting on your phone, all of a sudden it goes ballistic, starts screeching about a tornado warning or something? Or you ever been watching TV and then it just cuts to black like that is the emergency alert system, which is primarily used by the National Weather Service to distribute warnings for dangerous weather to the people of the nation like you and me. Now, what is the National Weather Service exactly? It's a network of 122 different offices across the nation. All of those offices are in charge of 20 to 50 counties, and they do the forecasting, they report on weather, they export the data from their radar towers. Each office has a radar tower. Export that data from all their radar towers to private companies like the Weather Channel or Apple or Android for all of those inbuilt smartphone apps. And they also are in charge of issuing warnings and watches and advisories during the inclement weather. And I'm going to get into what those types of warnings are. There are 45 in total. There are 3 main types with 1 major subtype and 3 minor subtypes. Let's get into it. First off are advisories. This is a list of all the advisories that can be issued. These are issued for less severe weather conditions that can still make a minor impact or cause inconvenience to people, especially those with certain disabilities. For example, a dense fog advisory means there's dense fog. You probably shouldn't be out on the roads because the dense fog. Heat advisories, it's hotter than normal. People who have sensitivity to heat, like the elderly or the incredibly young, probably should not be outside for too long. Wind advisories mean the winds are higher than normal, but they're not going to pick you up and blow you away. They should still be heated with some sense of urgency, but they are not life-threatening. They are just going to cause minor impacts or inconvenience. Now we move on to watches. Watches are issued when there are perfect conditions for a dangerous weather situation to occur, such as a tornado watch, meaning that the convective available potential energy is up, wind shear, storm relative helicity, there's enough energy in the atmosphere, there's a possibility of a storm front moving through or supercells popping up. You see, you don't know what those words mean, but you're going to if you watch other videos like this, which will come out later. Yeah, do that. And you need to be prepared to act if one of those are issued. Like a flood watch means there's going to be a ton of rain coming through. Winter storm watch, there's going to be a winter system coming through. Tropical storm watch, there's a good chance that a tropical storm is going to come through. Obviously, you're not going to need that in the landlocked states like Indiana or Michigan, but you're still going to want to know, like a tornado watch. Here's a list of all the watches that can be issued, and there is a minor subtype of watches, but we'll get into those when we get into the actual subtypes. Now, past a watch is a warning. Warnings are issued when severe weather is imminent or occurring, and it does pose a threat to life and property. An example of that is a tornado warning, which is issued when there is visible rotation on radar for a tornado, or they have confirmed visuals that a tornado is on the ground. Severe thunderstorm warnings when a storm reaches the severe thresholds of 55 mile per hour winds or quarter-sized hail. Flash flood warnings when there's been enough rainfall in the past few hours to cause rivers or creeks to rise significantly, which could cause damage to property. I'm going to make an example out of tornado warnings. I'm just going to get this out of the way. Not every tornado has a tornado warning, and not every tornado warning has a tornado, but always treat a tornado warning like there is one on the ground. Many people have made the mistake of not, and that mistake has cost quite a few people their lives. Don't make that mistake. There are subtypes of warnings too, but we'll get into those later. Here's an example of all the warnings that can be issued. Now, the major subtype is an emergency. An emergency is a step up from warning. There's only two emergencies that can be issued: a tornado emergency and a flash flood emergency. Tornado emergencies are issued when law enforcement or spotters or radar suggest that there is a very large, the wording is catastrophic tornado on the ground. An example of a tornado emergency is the Moore EF5, which is to date the most recent and last EF5 to occur. That was in 2013. There are also flash flood emergencies, which occur when rivers have already passed flood stage and the rain is not stopping anytime soon, so you need to seek higher ground immediately. And there are more subtypes. There's a subtype for watches, subtypes for warnings. The subtype for a watch is a PDS watch. It can also be used for warnings, but I'm going to talk about the watch variant first. PDS means particularly dangerous situation. In watch format, that means that it is incredibly likely that these situations will occur, so you need to take extra action to make sure you are ready to go to a safe place or to take any necessary action, such as a PDS tornado watch. And those are issued very rarely and only when the National Weather Service has the highest confidence that a system will cause tornadoes, intense tornadoes, maybe even violent tornadoes. There are also PDS tornado warnings, which are when there are tornadoes on the ground that are dangerous, but they are not as catastrophic as a tornado emergency tornado might be. PDS tornado warnings are still to be taken incredibly seriously, just not as seriously as an emergency. There are considerable warnings for severe thunderstorms, which could mean 70-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. There could be destructive, which could have hail up to CD size. There were warnings issued for CD-sized hail this year. That's big hail falling on your head. There are different visuals used for each of these. For example, if you have a typical weather app, sometimes severe thunderstorm warnings are red, tornado warnings are pink. That's just to indicate the severity, because pink's a brighter color, which means it's of more importance. And if you receive one of these alerts, if you receive a watch, make sure that you're ready to take the necessary action. Pack up stuff for like a survival kit in case there's a tornado watch. Make sure that you're ready to go to higher ground if there's a flood watch. If there's an excessive heat watch, make sure to try and limit your time outdoors, so on and so forth. If there's a warning, make sure you take that action. If there's a flash flood warning, seek higher ground. If there's a tornado warning, go underground. If there's a tornado emergency, get underground. Seek higher ground, don't drive on flooded roads, etc. There are many different types of alerts. There's 45 in total. Here's a whole list of them. Yeah, 45. That's a lot. And they're not all necessary for one area, but every area needs a few of these. For example, someone in Colorado might not need a flash flood warning, but they definitely need the high wind warning. Someone in Michigan's not going to need the hurricane warning, but someone in Florida's going to. Make sure that you pay attention to these alerts because they could save your life. They have saved many lives before, and they will continue to. Remember, when it comes to weather, you always need to be aware because it can change on a dime, and weather can be the most beautiful and the most destructive thing on this planet. Remember to stay safe, and as always, have a great day.